Started, sir.
Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevam Atmabuddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Gurave Sarvalokanam, Bhishaje Bhavaroginam, Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam, Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Okay, so we were on 345 last week. We should get into 346 now. Okay, can we just move on, or does anyone have any questions? No one?
No question.
Okay, so we'll go to 346, 46. Yeah, 346. Paravareikatva
Paravareikatva
Vivekavannihi
Vivekavannihi
Vivekavanti
Vannihi Vivekavannihi
Vivekavannihi
Dahat
Vivekavannihi
Dahatyavidya Gahanam
Dahatya Vidya Gahanam
Dahat
Dahat Avidya
Tyashesham
Yashe
Yashesham
Vishesham
Kim Syat Punaha
Kim Syat Punaha
Kim Syat Punaha
Samsaranasya Bijam
Samsaranasya
Samsaranasya
Bijam
Bijam
Advaita Bhavam
Advaita Bhavam
Advaita Bhavam
Samupeyushaha
Samupeshaha
Samupeshaha
Asya.
Asya
Yeah. So Paravareikatva Vivekavannihi Dahatyavidya Gahanam Hyashesham Kim Syat Punah Samsaranasya Bijam Advaita Bhavam Samupeyushosya. Okay. So in these shlokas, actually, Acharya wants to talk about the Nididhyasanam through the what is that? Samadhi Abhyasa. So this what Samadhi? Anirvikalpa Samadhi. So there is a Nirvikalpa Samadhi based Nididhyasanam, which is what this whole section is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, the Acharya wants to convey this message that the Nididhyasanam will not be effective if the Nididhyasaka has not gone through Shravanam and Mananam thoroughly as a preparation. A lot of people just listen to one or two random lectures here and there, and then they want to sit in meditation and do Nididhyasanam or Atmadhyanam. That will not work, which is what the Acharya wants to say, because the very definition of Nididhyasanam is to recollect the Vedantic teachings. So if you have not collected the Vedantic teaching in the first place through Sravanam and Mananam, you cannot recollect it. The very verb recollect means you must have collected it sometime before. Then you go back and collect it again. That is recollection. Okay. And what is this Sravanam Mananam? That the Acharya is describing in these 6-7 shlokas. And I told long back that Sravanam is consistent and systematic study of the Vedantic scriptures under the guidance of a traditional living guru for a length of time. No, this is my guru's definition of Shravanam. So you have to learn the Vedantic scriptures, Vedantic Grantha, not necessarily the Moolam in Sanskrit, but the essence of that meaning in any language that you are comfortable with, and absorb that and make sure that this knowledge is firm and definite and 100% confirmed. Now, a lot of people have this approach that yes, I have gone through a lot of Shravanam and Mananam. I am almost certain that I am Brahman, but I am looking for a small 1% proof. I have 99% certainty. I'm still looking for some proof which will confirm that 1%. That is not firm knowledge. That is still suspicious knowledge or doubtful knowledge. Doubtless knowledge means you must be totally convinced that Aham Brahmasmi and all those other related teachings, and you are not looking for any further proof this way or that way. And I also said in some other section that Dhyanam or Nididhyasanam is not for the confirmation of Jnanam. No, Dhyanam or Nididhyasanam is not meant for the confirmation of your Jnanam. That you will never get confirmed. The confirmation has to only come through Shravanam. And Nididhyasanam is not meant for any special experiences also. So you have to drop all these expectations from Nididhyasanam also. You should not think that by performing Nididhyasanam you're going to acquire some special powers like siddhis or anything. No, nothing of that kind. Nididhyasanam is just a phase in the Jnana Yoga process where you are trying to get rid of old habitual problems, and that rewiring or reprogramming yourself in alignment with the Vedantic teachings is what Nididhyasanam is all about. So in this context, the Acharya is now revising Shravanam and Mananam for anybody who might be a little unsure what is this Shravanam and Mananam. Now, having come this far, suddenly somebody might get this doubt. Okay, what is this Shravanam and Mananam I am talking about? Yeah, so the Acharya wants to throw some more light on the Shravanam and Mananam aspect, which was already covered in great detail between Shloka number 1 and Shloka number 253. So this is some kind of a summary of that earlier portion. You have to remember that. Yeah. So Paravaraikatva Viveka Vannihi. Para Avara Ekatva. So Para means Paramatma, Avara means Jivatma, Ekatvam means the oneness. Okay. So Paravaraikatva Paravara Ekatva means the oneness of Jivatma and Paramatma. That is Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, all those teachings. And this Jnanam is here called Vivekam. Because what is Vivekam? Vivekam is the discriminating power. And generally we say Vivekam is discriminating the Atma from Anatma. Okay, but here the word Vivekam is used in a very special sense that it is used as Jnanam itself. So Paravaraikatva Viveka Vannihi. Vanni means fire.
Fire.
Yeah, and so why is this Jnanam compared to fire? Fire has two properties. One property is to illuminate things. Let's say there is a dark room and there is some stuff there, some objects are there, but they are covered in darkness. So when you bring a flame or some light, the objects are revealed, the darkness is removed and the objects are revealed. So that is illumination. Similarly, Jnanam performs the function of showing us what is truth, what is Brahman, what is Satyam, what is the truth. That illumination of the truth happens through Jnanam. So Viveka Vanni. Then the fire also has a second function, which is destructive function. It burns up everything. You put something in fire, it gets burnt. Similarly, Jnanam destroys ignorance. So in that sense, Nashakatvat Prakashaha or Nashakatvat Agni. Similarly, Prakashakatvat Jnanam. So there are two functions. Similarly, Jnanam destroys ignorance and it reveals Brahman, reveals within quotes. Okay, so Paravaraikatva Viveka Vannihi Dahati. This burns up. What does it burn up?
Avidya.
Avidya Gahanam. Sorry, somebody said something?
I said avidya.
Sorry?
I just said avidya.
Yeah. So Dahati Avidya Gahanam. Avidya is ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay, and Gahanam really means something like a huge forest. The word Gahanam is also used in Bhagavad Gita. It comes in the 4th chapter or 3rd chapter somewhere. Karmanyak, no, Karmanai. कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यम बोद्धव्यम च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यम गहना कर्मणो गतिः. There the word gahanam is used. So gahana means, it's gahanam really means a dense forest. Once you get inside, you will get lost. You won't even know what is the right direction. North, south, east, west, you will not know. You can get completely lost in a dense forest. So like that, ignorance is a dense forest. Once you get into ignorance, it gives you all sorts of illusions, and you don't know what is truth and what is not truth. So that is avidya gahanam. So this jnanam destroys that thick forest of avidya. How does it destroy? Hi asesham. Without leaving anything, without even a trace of ignorance, it is completely destroyed. That ignorance is completely destroyed by the jnanam. So that is the first 2 lines. Paravaraikatva vivekavannihi dahati avidya gahanam yashesham. Then Kim syat punaha samsaranasya bijam. So what is left? Kim syat punaha means what is left. What else is there as what? Samsaranasya bijam. Samsaranam here means samsaram. That punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. That repeated cycle of birth and death here is samsaram. Or you can even say the emotional upheavals that one experiences in this life. That is also samsara. All the sufferings. So you can take it either way. So a bijam is the seed or the cause. So once the ignorance has been destroyed completely, what else is there to cause you sorrow? That is the question in the 3rd line. That means what? Nothing should cause you sorrow. All your causes of sorrow is gone, because it is the ignorance that prompted you to associate yourself with the body and mind, which in turn got you into the web of relationships and pursuit of materials and all that, and that is what led to your sufferings. So the root cause of ignorance is cut off, so the suffering should disappear. That is the idea. So advaita bhavam samupeyushosya. So this advaita bhavam is a reference to the first line, paravaraikatvam. So once you realize that Paramatma and Jivatma are one and the same, they are not different, that gives you that Advaita Bhavam. That means you own up your Brahman nature, you own up your true Atma Swarupam, which is Chaitanyam. And once you have acquired that Samupeyushasya means for one who has acquired this Advaita Bhavam, for him there is no need, there is no cause for any further sorrow. That is the total 346. Okay. Was that enough, or you want some more?
Yes, it's clear. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we'll go to 347. 347. Avaranasya nirvrittir bhavati.
आवरणस्य निर्वृत्तिर्भवति
Hi samyak padartha darshanatah.
He
हि सम्यक्
सम्यक् पदार्थ
पदार्थदर्शनः
दर्शनतः
Mithya vinashah.
इत्याज्ञानविनाशः
ज्ञानविनाशनः
Tad vikshepa janita dukkha nivrittihi.
Tat
विक्षेपजनितवृत्तिः
Avaranasya nivrittirbhavati samyak padartha darshanatah mithya jnana vinashastad vikshepa janita dukkha nivrittihi. Okay, so here the Acharya is explaining how this jnanam removes the ignorance and how that in turn eliminates the sorrow. That mechanism is being explained. So we already saw that this Maya or Ajnanam has 2 powers. There is an Avarana Shakti and there is a Vikshepa Shakti. So that Avarana Shakti is removed by the Jnanam. Avaranasya nivrittihi bhavatihi. That covering power, veiling power. You know, my guru says veiling power can be felt in two ways. One is V-E-I-L-I-N-G, veiling, which is to put some kind of a curtain in front. That is veil. The other is W-A-I-L-I-N-G, veiling power. You scream because of this samsara. That is also veiling power. So this Ajnanam has the veiling power. It acts in two ways, in two spellings. So that avaranam is removed. Nivritti means removal. Avaranasya nivrittir bhavati. That ignorance covering you is completely removed by the jnanam, which we saw in the previous shloka. It is the Agni. It illuminates and it burns ignorance. So those two mechanisms, and that results in samyak padartha darshanatah. Samyak padartham is the total knowledge about the truth. So here the word padartham, see, normally we use the word padartham to refer to some object. And in Tamil, actually, the word padartham means some eatable. That's a different thing. You know, a lot of people use the word padartham as, you know, when they make some dosa, idli or something, they call it padartham. That's not the padartham here. The padartham here means Brahma Swarupam. Artham, the word artham means something which is meaning. Pada artham is Atma pada artham. You can take it that way. Samyak padartha darshanatah. So darshanam here means to understand. So the word samyak padartha darshanam means a complete understanding of the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi teaching. That truth, that owning up your Atma Swarupam, Brahma Swarupam, that happens because of the removal of ignorance. Avaranasya nivrittir bhavati. Then what happens? Mithyajnana vinashaha. That results in the destruction of the false understanding or the false notions that one had acquired. See, this is a three-step process. There is an ignorance which does not show you the reality. Let's go to the rope snake example. No, there is a rope, but because of ignorance, you do not know it is a rope. That is avaranam. But then you imagine that to be a snake. That is a false knowledge. Now, ignorance is one common entity, but the false knowledge can be in many different ways. Let's say, you know, 5 people are walking together and all of them see that rope in that semi-darkness, but all 5 of them do not recognize it's a rope. So one person says it's a snake. One person says it's a streak of water. Another person says it's some mala lying on the ground. You know, another person says, you know, it's a crack on the earth. So everybody has their own perception about what that rope is. Nobody knows it is a rope. So that ignorance is common to all of them. But the false knowledge about that rope can be different. So that once the knowledge that it is rope is revealed, all the false knowledge also disappears. That is the Mithyajnana Vinashaha. So in the Vedantic context, what is that? You did not know that you were Brahman. So you thought you were the body and mind. That is the Mithyajnana. So once you know that you are Brahman, you don't need a separate mechanism to destroy that false knowledge that I am body mind. That automatically goes. The moment you know you are Brahman, you automatically know that you are not your body mind complex. So that is Mithyajnana Vinashaha. Then what happens as a consequence of that? Tad vikshepa janita dukkha nivritti. So all the sufferings that you undergo in this life, in this world, is all connected to the body. And once you realize that you are not your body, you are not the mind, even the sorrow, all the problems, all the emotional issues also disappear. So it's a 3-step process. The first step is your ignorance is destroyed. The second step is your false knowledge goes. And then the third step is your suffering disappears. This is a three-step process, which is what the Acharya wants to give in this sloka. Okay. 347. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Right. We'll go to 348. Etat tritayam drishtam
Etat trutiyam
Etat
drishtam
tritayam drishtam
samyak rajjuswarupa
samyak rajju
Samyag
swarupa
Rajya Swarupa
vijnanat
vijnana
Jnanat
tasmat
tasma
Mata
vastu satatvam
vastu
Vastu
satatvam
Satatvam
ज्ञातव्यम
jnatavyam
Jnatavyam
बंध मुक्तये विदुषा.
bandha
Bandhamuktaye
muktaye vidusha.
Vidusha
बंध मुक्तये विदुषा. Okay. So एतत् तृतीयं दृष्टं सम्यक् रज्जुस्वरूप विज्ञानात् तस्माद् वस्तु सतत्वं ज्ञातव्यं बन्धमुक्तये विदुषा. So एतत् तृतीयं दृष्टं. Tritayam is this three-step phenomenon. Destruction of ignorance, thereby destruction of the false knowledge, thereby the destruction of suffering. That three-step process is Tritayam. Drishtam. Drishtam means it is experienced, it is observed, it is seen. Because when you see a rope snake and then somebody comes and says it is not a snake, it's a rope, you first know that it is a rope, then the notion that it is a snake is gone, and then the fear that the snake generated is also gone. So you are able to experience it exactly the same way. When you know that you are Brahman, your false notion about the body is removed, and then the suffering is removed. That is drishtam, it is experienced. Samyak rajju swarupa vijnanat. So this rope snake example is taken here. Rajju means rope. Rajju swarupa vijnanat. So you know the rope is really the rope. It is not a snake. That is Rajju Swarupa Vijnanam. For the Vedantic context, it is Brahma Swarupa Vijnanat. Atma Swarupa Vijnanat. You have to substitute Rajju with Atma. Okay. Tasmat. Similarly, Vastu Satatvam Nyatavyam. Vastu Satatvam here means Atma Swarupam. Vastu here means Atma. Satatvam is Swarupam, truth. Vastu Satatvam Nyatavyam. One must take the effort to know about the true nature of oneself. Vastu Satatvam Nyatavyam. Bandha Muktaye Vidusha. Bandha Muktaye means to get freedom from this samsara, to get freedom from the sufferings in this life. Vidusha means by the wise people. So whoever wants to get liberated from the cycle of suffering has to take the effort to learn about one's true nature by going through the Vedantic Granthas. Bandha Muktaye Vidusha. That was 348. It is some kind of a summary shloka for the points mentioned until now. Okay.
Yes.
Can we move on? 349.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, Ayogni Yogadiva
ayogni yogadiva
Yogadiva
Tat Samanvayat
tat samanvayat
Samanvayat
Matradi Rupena
Samanvayan.
Samanvayan, sorry. Actually, the Samanvayan is
Yeah.
na
Right.
because the ma is following it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so if you break it, it is Samanvayat only.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So,
Right.
Ayogni Yogadiva
ayogni
Ayogni
yogadiva
Yogadiva
Tat Samanvayat
tat
Sat
samanvayat
Samanvayat
Matradi Rupena
मात्रादिरूपेण
विजृम्भते धीः
विजृम्भते
विजृम्भते
धीः
धीः
तत्कार्यमेतत्
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 द्वितयं यतो मृषा
द्वितयं यतो मृषा
मृषा
दृष्टं भ्रम स्वप्न मनोरथेषु
दृष्टं
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 मनोस्वप्न
मनस्वप्नमनोरथेषु
दृष्टं भ्रमस्वप्न
दृष्टं
दृष्टं
भ्रमस्वप्न
ब्रह्मस्वप्न
मनोरथेषु
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 Thank you, sir.
अयोग्नियोगादिव सत्समन्वयात् मात्रादिरूपेण विजृम्भते धीः तत्कार्यमेतद्वितयं यतो मृषा दृष्टं भ्रमस्वप्न मनोरथेषु. Okay, so there is a different reading also. Instead of tat karyametad dvitayam, you can also read tat karyamevat tritayam. That's a different reading. We'll come to that when we come to the third line. Okay, so there are two examples taken in this sloka. One example is the swapna or the dream example. The other is the example of a hot iron ball. Okay, so the first line, Ayogni Yogadiva, is the hot iron ball. We'll come to that a little later. We'll first understand the second and fourth line. Second and fourth line are connected. So, in the case of a dream, what happens? Let's say you go to your bedroom all alone and you fall asleep. So, at the time of falling asleep, you are alone, single, Advaitam in that room. But then when the dream comes, what happens? You create a dream world and you create dream characters within the dream. And then you are also there as a dreamer experiencing the dream. So this transaction that happens within the dream, every transaction requires a pramata, pramanam, prameyam. I'm not sure if we came across these words before. Pramata, pramanam, prameyam. So pramata is the one who is performing the action of knowing. Pramatru. And pramanam is the process of knowing. Prameyam is the object of knowing. In the dream also, you are there as a pramata. The objective, the dream objects are there as prameyam. And then the experience of the dream is the pramanam. So that is referred here as matru adi rupena. So the matru refers to pramata. Adi refers to pramanam and prameyam. So matradi rupena vijrumbhate dhihi. So it is your own mind. Dhihi means mind. Vijrumbhate means to expand, to multiply. So in the dream, you start as a single person, but your dream emerges from your mind. That Triputi, we have another word in Sanskrit which mentions the same thing. Triputi means triad. The triad refers to the pramata, pramanam, prameyam. Experiencer, experienced object, and the experiencing process or experiencing instrument. You can take it either way. So this mind projects the dream by expanding into this Triputi. Similarly, this world also Sat Samanvayat. Sat Samanvayat means the Sat here refers to consciousness. The dream is made possible by the blessing of the consciousness. The mind by itself is a jada vastu. It is not capable of doing anything. It is because of the blessing of the consciousness that the mind is able to act. Similarly, this world, this universe is also a creation of the cosmic Maya, which is the cosmic mind, with the blessings of the Atma. So the microcosm of the dream is the creation of our Nidra Shakti. The macrocosm of the universe that we experience is the creation of the Maya Shakti. Okay, that is the Sat Samanvayat. By the blessings of Atma, by the blessings of the Chaitanyam, the Maya creates. Vijrumbhate. Vijrumbhate also means to expand. Okay. Tat karyam etat dvitayam yato mrisha. Mrisha means something which is unreal. So in the dream, you know it is unreal once you wake up from the dream. So during the dream, you don't know it is unreal, but after you wake up from the dream, you know it is unreal. Exactly like that, this world is also recognized to be unreal once you have acquired this Brahmajnanam, once you have gone through the Vedantic teachings, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi and all that, then that Jnanam tells you that this world is Mrisha. So Dvitayam means just subject and object. So there are only two things. Dvitayam means there are two entities. Whereas Tritayam means you add the instrument also. That's the only difference. It's not a major difference. It's still subject, instrument, object. That is Tritayam. So this experience of the world is proved to be Mrisha or Mithya by taking the parallel of Brahma, Swapna, Manoratheshu. Fourth line. Brahma really means some kind of an illusion. You are under some kind of a spell. You are seeing things which are not there. That is Brahma. Then Swapna is dream. Manoratha is fast, some kind of a imagination. Manoratham is daydreaming also. So when you are daydreaming, you can get lost in the dream also. That is Manoratha, or you can also say imagination. And Brahma is a hallucination. So they are all examples for things which are not real. And once you wake up, you know it was all a dream or a hallucination. That is, all this is said to show that the blessings of Atma is always required. Without the Atma or consciousness, nothing of these things will happen. And now we'll go to the Ayogni Yogadiva in the first line. The Ayas means iron, Agni means fire. So the example here is an iron ball. An iron ball that has been heated, and so it is hot. Now, when somebody who does not know that the iron ball is hot, let's say he comes and touches that ball, and then his hand is burnt. What will he say? He will say that the iron ball burnt my hand. But really speaking, the iron ball by itself is not capable of burning your hand. It burnt the hand only because of the heat it had acquired. So really what he should have said is, the heat in the ball burnt my hand. That is the language the person should have used. But instead he says, the iron ball burnt me. Similarly, just like the iron ball requires the association of the fire heat principle to burn the hand, this Maya Jagat, this material world, requires the blessings of the Chaitanyam or consciousness to affect us. And once you withdraw that permission by knowing that I am not this Mithya Jagat, I am not this Mithya body, I am not this Mithya mind, you withdraw that blessing from the body mind world complex, your suffering is also removed. So that is the way we have to understand this shloka.
Okay.
So what that means is, we permit ourselves to be punished by the world. You can take it that way also. Once you remove that permission to punish you, you can never be punished. Is that some way causing some disagreement?
No.
No, sir. No disagreement. It's I'm only admiring beautifully how they say it as a blessing. Instead of putting a negative word, they have beautifully put a positive word. I'm admiring that.
Okay, what is the
actually,
positive word you are noticing?
they said, I mean, it is just like I'm comparing with iron ball. The heat that what actually burnt my hand is also called as a blessing here. It's a blessing from the universe. அப்படின்னு அழகா I mean, because that is actually causing destruction to me.
Yeah,
But they have actually taken a positive approach in explaining that it does not do anything to you. You only have to cut the permission.
correct.
That's a beautiful way. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So that was 349. Okay, was that good? Can we move on?
Yes.
You can move on, sir.
Right. So tato vikaraha
Tato
Tato
vikaraha
vikaraha
Rama
prakritehe
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 ahammukhaha
apamukha
Mukhaha
dehavasana
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 vishayascha sarve
vishayascha
Vishayascha Sarve
kshanenyatha bhavitaya
ananyatha bhaya
Bhavitaya
kshanenyatha bhavitaya
shanenyatam bhavitaya
Bhavitaya
hyamisham
shamisham
Shamesham
asatvamatmatu
asattvamatu
Asamatmatu
kadapi nanyatha
kadapi
Kadapi
nanyatha
Nanyatha
ततो विकाराः प्रकृतेरहम्मुखा देहावसाना विषयाश्च सर्वे क्षणेन्यथा भावितया ह्यमीषाम् असत्त्वमात्मा तु कदापि नान्यथा कदापि नान्यथा. So ततो विकाराः प्रकृतेः विकाराः. So prakriti here is the Maya principle. So in these following sections you will see a lot of parallel between between these shlokas and the way the 13th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, one section talks about Prakriti and Purusha. Okay, so in the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter we have this section Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaramscha Gunamschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. And from there, some 7 or 8 shlokas talk about the Prakriti and Purusha in a compare and contrast mode. So these few shlokas will be quite parallel to that. So Vikaraha means a product. A Vikaraha literally means a modification. And a modification is generally a product. Okay, now wheat flour modified becomes chapati. Okay, we can call chapati as a vikara of wheat flour, atta. Okay, so similarly, Prakriti is the atta from which this whole world is made. So this world is a vikara of Prakriti. It's a product of Prakriti. It's a modification of Prakriti. And what the Acharya says, aham mukha dehavasana vishayascha sarve. Aham here refers to ahankara. Aham refers to ahankara, which is essentially your buddhi. Mano buddhi, chitta, ahankara. What we call manas or mind has 4 components. In some contexts, we treat them as 4 separate entities, but they are basically 4 different functions of the same entity. So you can say ahankara can be taken to be the manas in some context. So here the word ahankara is taken to be the complete mind itself. So starting from the mind, dehavasana up to the body. The body has 5 koshas. Pancha kosha, annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya. So ahammukha dehavasana means all the pancha koshas and vishayascha sarve. Vishayaha refers to the external world. All these are vikaras of Prakriti. They are all matter principle. So going back to the 13th chapter, the Purusha is the changeless, true, sentient principle. Nirvikara Satya Chetana Vastu. In Sanskrit. Changeless, true, sentient. Sentient means it is capable of knowing. And Prakriti is exact opposite. Changing, untrue, insentient matter. In Sanskrit it is Savikara Mithya Jadavastu. That is Prakriti. So this whole world is a mixture that comes from, is emanating from this mixture. It is the Prakriti which becomes the world. But the Purusha, as we said, it is Nirvikara, unchanging. It continues to be Purusha. So the question will come, okay, the Prakriti has now become the world, and the world includes body, mind also. So the Prakriti has now changed into the world and body, mind. Where is the Purusha? So the Purusha is a witness of the body, mind world. That is a Sakshi. And that Sakshi is never changing. It never changes. I think we talked about this in very great elaboration in some of the earlier classes. Why our consciousness is unchanging. I also said that if you have to know change, or if you want to observe a change, it always has to be with reference to something which is unchanged. If everything around you is changing, you cannot measure the change, because to measure the change, you must say change from what? And that from what has to be something which is unchanged. That unchanging reference point is our consciousness. So consciousness is never changing. It is always the same. And which is why I told you people have to sit in meditation for a few minutes and see how your consciousness is unwaveringly witnessing everything. While all the thoughts come and go into your mind, come into your mind and go out of the mind, you, the Chaitanyam, is witnessing all that coming and going. That is the unchanging Purusha principle. Okay, that idea the Acharya wants to bring here. So first he is contrasting all the changing stuff in the world. The body is changing, the mind is changing, the world is changing, everything is changing. Okay, so Kshane Anyatha Bhavitaya Yamisham. What he wants to say is the change is so sudden and so spontaneous. From one moment to another, it changes. It doesn't require a few years to change. It changes from one microsecond to another microsecond. Kshane, in a moment. Amisham asatvam. So these mithya principles are always changing. Whereas Atma tu kadapi nanyatha. Kadapi nanyatha means Atma never changes. Nanyatha means it doesn't become different. Atma is always the same. Which is why we said there are three levels of reality. If you remember, there is a Paramarthika Satyam, there is a Vyavaharika Satyam, and there is a Pratibhasika Satyam. And how did we define Paramarthika Satyam? How did you define? It is available in all the three states of time and everywhere, all over space and time. It is not limited by space and time. That is your Paramarthika Satyam, and that is consciousness. So that is the idea given here. Atma tu kadapi nanyatha. Atma never changes. Whereas Anatma, Prakriti, the Vikaraha keeps changing. And then the next sloka will continue to give some more ideas along the same lines. So this will be a parallel to the 13th chapter that I mentioned. Okay, is that clear so far?
Very clear, sir.
We go to 251, 351.
Yes, sir.
Nityadvaya khanda
Niryadvaya khanda
चिदेकरूपः
चिदेकरूपः
Ekrupaha.
बुद्ध्यादिसाक्षी
Buddhyadi
बुद्ध्यादिसाक्षी
Sakshi.
तदसद्विलक्षणः
तदसत् विलक्षणः
Adasad Lakshana.
तदसद्विलक्षणः
Tad
तद् असत्
Asad
विलक्षणः
Vilakshana.
अहं पदप्रत्यय
अहं पदप्रत्ययः
प्रत्यय
Aham Pada Pratyaya.
लक्षितार्थः
लक्षितार्थः
Lakshitartha.
लक्षितार्थः
प्रत्यक् सदानन्दघनः
ध्यक्सदानन्दघनः
Sadanandagana.
परात्मा
परात्मा
Paratma.
नित्याद्वयाखण्डचिदेकरूपः बुद्ध्यादिसाक्षी सदसद्विलक्षणः अहं पदप्रत्ययलक्षितार्थः प्रत्यक् सदानन्दघनः परात्मा. So this is the continuation of the description of Purusha. The previous shloka was all about Prakriti. This shloka is all about the Purusha. So what is this Purusha? Nitya Advaya Akhanda Chit Ekarupaha. So Nitya is eternal. Eternal, I will say Anantaha. Nitya is also Anantaha. It is not bound by space and time. It is not bound by space and time. Advaya. Advaya means without a second. The one and only. That is without a second. Akhanda. Akhanda Chit. Akhanda can be taken as a separate word. Akhanda Chit can be taken together as another word. So Akhanda means without any parts. Without any parts. Normally, I told somewhere that we have this Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bhedam. If you remember these three, very good. So Sajatiya Bhedam means there are two entities of the same species. So the difference between those two, like there are two birds or two dogs or two horses, that is Sajatiya Bhedam. Then Vijatiya Bhedam is two entities from different species. So let's say the difference between a horse and a buffalo, or the difference between a plant and an animal, that is Vijatiya Bhedam. Then Swagata Bhedam. Swagata Bhedam means within the entity itself you have parts. Like the human body has a head, thorax, hand, legs, eyes, ears. These are all parts. So that is Swagata Bhedam. So Akhanda means Brahman or Chaitanyam is free from all the three Vedas. It is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda Rahitaha. That is Akhandam. It doesn't have parts. It doesn't have parts. There is no second Paramatma. There's only one Paramatma. There is no other entity other than Paramatma. That is Vijatiya Bhedam is also not there. So all these ideas are given by this Akhanda. Eka, Advaya, Akhanda gives that idea. Then Akhanda Chit means this Chit or Chaitanyam or the consciousness has no break. It doesn't take a break. If you are closing your eyes and trying to focus on something, you will see that the thing on which you are focusing may change, but your witnessing or your attention to that thing will not change. Yeah. So this is the unchanging consciousness. So Akhanda Chit, it is without a break. And Ekarupaha. Ekarupa has one and only. Okay. Buddhyadi Sakshi. And it is a witness of all your thoughts and other. Buddhi Adi means it is a body also. So your Chaitanyam witnesses your mind, your body, the world, everything. So it is a Sakshi or witness of everything around you, including the body, mind. Then Sad Asad Vilakshana. Now this is a very important thing to understand. Sad Asad Vilakshana means here the word Sat and Asat have a special meaning. Sat means that which is available for your perception. And asat means the cause, the karanam. In Nyaya language, karanam is also called asat because you don't see the karanam once the effect has come. It is a little like butter is produced from milk. Yeah. So butter is the karyam, whereas milk is the karanam. And once the butter has come, there is no milk anymore. So the karanam vanishes. So the karanam is asat. It is no longer there, but it is there in the form of the butter. So here you have to understand sadasat vilakshanam means karya karana vilakshanam. That means it is neither the cause nor the effect. It is neither the cause nor the effect. Okay, now this is actually a very big topic for a long philosophical discussion. You may wonder why we say Chaitanyam is neither cause nor effect, because very often we say that Bhagavan or Ishvara is the cause of this universe. Okay, that's a very common thing. We all say Bhagavan created the universe, so Bhagavan is the cause of the universe. That is just an initial ABCD LKG class lesson. When you come to advanced Vedanta, we say that Chaitanyam is not even a cause or effect, because the moment you say Chaitanyam is a cause and it produces an effect, it means Chaitanyam undergoes a change. For something to be a cause and an effect, or cause or an effect, it must be capable of undergoing a change. And because Chaitanyam cannot undergo any change, it is not a cause or effect also. That is sadasat vilakshana. Okay, what is the word here? Sadasat vilakshana. Okay, I'll pause here. Maybe that was a little like a bouncer. Was that clear, or should we go a little deeper into that?
That was clear, sir. But I have one more maybe basic doubt. But can I ask? That is not with sadasat vilakshana.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here actually they are describing or giving a definition of Purusha. And I noticed that this word was there, Eka Rupaha. So do they give an idea that there is a Rupam?
No. Here
Because
the word Rupa means the Rupa is not a shape or color. The word Rupa has to be understood as nature.
Okay, sir.
Nature, again, not as Prakriti. A lot of people use Prakriti to mean nature. That's not the nature. Here the word Rupa is Swarupa.
Okay.
So the word Swarupa, it is only one and unchanging, and it is never changing. So Eka Rupa means it again gives you the impression that it never changes.
Okay,
From
sir.
whichever way, whichever direction you look at it, it is the same.
Right, sir. But because this was driving me into some other thing. Why Rupam? So now I got it. Thank you, sir.
Rupam is Swarupam.
Swarupam. Right, sir. Thank you.
Swarupam. Not Shivarupam. Swarupam.
Swarupam. Yes, sir. Got you, sir.
Okay. Right. Anyone else? Any comments? Was that Sadasat Vilakshana concept clear?
Yes, sir. That is clear.
Okay, I want someone else to say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. So,
Yes, sir.
aham pada pratyaya lakshitartha. Now, this is the Vedantic, what we call Mahavakya being explained. So, aham brahmasmi. So, when the Upanishad says aham brahmasmi, what is that word aham referring to? That is the question. So, normally when somebody says aham means I, they would refer to either their body or the mind. That is a normal way of using the word aham. But the Upanishad does not use the word in that sense. It penetrates your body and your mind and goes all the way to the consciousness or chaitanyam which is inside that operating inside that body. So that chaitanyam is the lakshyartha. Lakshyartha means the intended meaning. The word vachyartha means the normal common meaning. So normally when somebody says aham, it could mean the body or the mind. But then in the Upanishad, it is the lakshyartha and not the vachyartha. Lakshyartha means the intended meaning of the word I. Aham pada pratyaya lakshitarthaha. Pratyaya means the word, expression. Pratyaya is the expression. Aham pada pratyaya lakshitarthaha means it is the intended meaning of the word aham in the Upanishad Vakyam aham brahmasmi. That is aham pada pratyaya lakshitarthaha. Pratyak sadananda ghanaha paratma. So the word pratyak means that which can be experienced in the mind, inside. Pratyak means inside. That doesn't mean it is not outside. It is also outside, but the experience of the consciousness is possible for the individual only inside the mind. That is why it is pratyak. And sadananda ghanaha paratma. Sada ananda ghanaha or sat ananda ghanaha. You can split it in two ways. Now, ananda ghanaha means it is pure ananda. Sad ananda ghanaha. Pure sat and pure ananda. It is nothing else. It is not mixed with anything else. It is not contaminated with anything else. Ghanaha. Ghanaha means heavy. And ghanaha means it is dense. Dense means what? It doesn't have anything else. It is only that stuff. It's pure. How we say 100% pure something. So it is 100% pure consciousness is Sat Ananda Ghanaha. This consciousness. It is the paraphrasing of there are two things here. There is one Taittiriya Upanishad Vakyam, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that is obvious. The other one is from Mandukya Upanishad. Nanta pragyam na bhishpragyam noveta pragyam na pragyana ghanam na pragyam na pragyam. Okay, but there the pragyana ghanam is not a reference to Chaitanyam, it is a reference to Anandamaya Kosha. So no, it's only Taittiriya Upanishad. So pragyana, Sadananda Ghanaha refers to a dense entity that is only consciousness, that is only Anandam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Paratma. Paratma is a supreme one. Paramatma. Paratma is here Paramatma. So this whole shloka is a definition of Purusha. It is definition of Purusha in one shloka with all the attributes thrown in. There is a Mundakopanishad mantra. Yat tadadreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tadapani padam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. So that is one place where Chaitanyam is defined, Brahman is defined. Yeah, that is Mundakopanishad. I'm looking for Mandukya. Mandukya also has Ittadadresham Agrahyam Agotram, that is Mundaka Upanishad. Adrishtam Avyavaharyam Agrahyam Alakshanam Achintyam Avyavadeshyam Ekatma Pratyayasaram Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam. That is the definition in Mandukya Upanishad. So these are all, you will find definition of Purusha or Paramatma in various Upanishads, in various mantras. So I just gave you some 2 or 3 samples just to show that this is not a new idea that the Acharya is bringing. He is simply paraphrasing the teachings given in various different Upanishads and reminding us of all those concepts. That is the whole point. That is 351. Okay. Any questions?
From my side, no, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if no one has any questions, we'll conclude the class today. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So time to chant the Mangala Shlokas. Yeah. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Sarvesham Swastirбhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarvepi Sukhinas Santu Sarve Santu Niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति शांति शांतिः Thank you. We will meet on
Thank
Tuesday
you.
next week.
much.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.